Hi friends, welcome to English Study Point. Today in this video lecture, I am going to discuss this concept of interliterariness, how this particular concept is applied while telling story of Ahalya. So this particular story is presented in Ramayana, and you people also know that there exist many different versions of Ramayana, but in this video lecture my focus will lie upon telling you about specifically northern as well as southern Ramayana, how these two versions are different from each other, and how story of Ahalya in both versions are told in a very different way, and also how this concept of interliterariness fits within both versions, that I'm going to talk about here in this video lecture. Here I am beginning this video lecture by first discussing this term interliterariness. This term means fusion of different things in a literary work, like copying or imitating different kinds of literary styles into one particular literary work, and also taking different cultural elements of many cultures into a literary work of another culture. So this is a sort of interliterariness. Now this particular story of Ahalya exists in northern India as Valmiki's Ramayana and in south as Kamba Ramayana. Kamba Ramayana, this title is specifically known in Tamil region, and it is also known as simply as Ramayana in Malayalam, but there exist differences in both versions. So from this particular line, we get to know that Ahalya's story exists in both northern India as well as southern Indian mythology, but Ahalya's story is prominently featured in the Ramayana, which is a kind of northern Indian epic. Now, in North Indian Ramayana, Ahalya is seduced by Indra disguised as her husband Gautama, whereas in southern India, Ahalya is seduced by Indra, but Gautama discovers the deception. So here we see that there occur variations in the story across regions. Here, Ahalya's transformation into a stone as a form of curse. So we get to see that in both northern as well as southern Indian versions, Ahalya is cursed by Gautama to become a stone. She remains in this particular state until she is redeemed. Redeemed means to liberate. Here we see that Ahalya's redemption means that she is saved from sin or evil, is possible through Rama's touch, which is seen in both versions. So here we see that in North Indian version, Rama frees Ahalya from the stone curse by touching her with his foot, whereas in the Southern Indian version, Rama's feet touch the stone, and since then Ahalya is liberated. Then we see that there is use of symbolism of chastity and loyalty. Ahalya's story emphasizes the consequences of infidelity. Infidelity means who is not faithful or loyal, and also at the same time talks about importance of marital fidelity. Fidelity means faithfulness. So here in this particular line, we see that there is a kind of punishment which is given in the form of transforming her into a stone, and which serves as a warning against straying away from one's marital vows. Then there is influence of regional languages and traditions. Ahalya's story is adapted and retold in various regional languages such as Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. So each adaptation in different languages incorporates local cultural nuances and storytelling techniques. So when these stories are told in different languages as well as versions, so it may also at the same time highlight different storytelling techniques that people are adopting in order to talk about this story again in a new as well as fresh manner. Here we see that there is presence of comparable myths in other cultures, means that there is a kind of comparing of myths which are taken from other cultures into literary work of one specific culture. Let's take an example like Ahilya's story shares similarities with Greek mythology, where gods like Zeus, who are disguised in the form of swan, they try to rape kind of mistress. So here we what we see that there is intercultural resemblances which reflect the universal themes of temptation and betrayal. सो इस पॉइंट के थ्रू हमें ये पता चलता है कि कहीं ना कहीं जब इंटरलिटरेरीनेस के कॉन्सेप्ट को अप्लाई किया जाता है तो हम कहीं ना कहीं जो दूसरे कल्चर के आइडियाज़ होते हैं, उनकी माइथोलॉजीज़ होती हैं, वो हम अपने लिटरेरी वर्क यानी हम अपने कल्चर के स्पेसिफिक कल्चर के लिटरेरी वर्क पर भी उन स्टोरीज़ को शामिल कर सकते हैं, बट हम उन्हें एक नया वर्जन दे सकते हैं, जैसे कि अहिल्या की स्टोरी में हुआ। तो कहीं ना कहीं अहिल्या की स्टोरी सिमिलर है ग्रीक माइथोलॉजी से। Then artistic representations. So Ahilya's story is depicted in sculptures, paintings and dance dramas in both northern as well as southern India. So each artistic representation in different forms showcase specific regional styles and interpretations. Then Ahilya's story highlights the complexities of gender and power dynamics. So this particular thing reflects or it portrays the strength and agency of women in resisting temptation and also the consequences they face if they succumb to it. So that is also presented in the story of Ahilya. Then Ahilya's story has inspired poets as well as writers throughout history, including famous works like Kalidasa's Abhigyan Shakuntalam. So, Ahilya's story holds its influence on literary traditions, and Kalidasa's Abhigyan Shakuntalam is somehow relatable to Ahilya's story, and these retellings contribute to the interliterariness of the स्टोरी। कहने का मतलब हुआ कि जो अहिल्या की स्टोरी है वो इंस्पायर करती है कालिदासा जैसे पोइट्स और बाकी सारे राइटर्स को भी। एंड वो यानी कालिदासा अभिज्ञान शकुंतलम को जब वो लिख रहे थे तो कहीं ना कहीं अहिल्या की स्टोरी से इंस्पायर होकर इन्होंने ये वर्क लिखा, जिसमें उन्होंने एक कैरेक्टर शकुंतला को क्रिएट किया जो कि कहीं ना कहीं अहिल्या की स्टोरी से इंस्पायर्ड थी। तो इस तरीके से भी एक नया ट्विस्ट दिया जा सकता है किसी पुरानी स्टोरी को, जिसमें हम करेक्टर्स जो हैं वो डिफरेंट क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, उनकी जो हैबिट्स हैं उनको भी एक नया वर्जन दे सकते हैं। सो इन अलग अलग तरीक़ों से एक कहीं ना कहीं इंटरलिटरेरीनेस को इस्टेब्लिश, ऐसे रिलेशनशिप को इस्टेब्लिश किया जा सकता है। Then we see that Ahilya's tale teaches the virtue of devotion, forgiveness, and repercussions of deception. So we see that moral lessons, some sort of moral lessons, are also embedded within the story, and these moral aspects are explored differently across regions. Then, in some South Indian regions, local rituals and festivals are dedicated to Ahilya to seek her blessings and redemption. So it means story of Ahilya is also presented through through showcasing regional customs associated with specific region, and this sort of custom adds up diversity to the interliterariness of the story. तो साउदर्न वर्जन में अगर किसी फिर से इस स्टोरी को बताया जाएगा तो कहीं ना कहीं साउदर्न वर्जन में फॉलो होने वाले कस्टम्स भी उस पर्टिकुलर स्टोरी के साथ दिखाए जाएंगे। तो इससे क्या होगा, एक डाइवर्सिटी क्रिएट हो पाएगी एंड हमें स्पेसिफिकली ये पता चल पाएगा कि उस पर्टिकुलर रीजन में किस तरीके के कस्टम्स को फॉलो किया जाता है। तो स्टोरी के साथ एक पर्टिकुलर रीजन के कस्टम्स को भी शोकेस किया जा सकता है जब इंटरलिटरेरीनेस जैसे कॉन्सेप्ट को अप्लाई किया जाता है। देन अहिल्या स्टोरी में शेप रिलीजियस बिलीव्स एंड प्रैक्टिसेस सच एज rituals performed to seek her forgiveness and redemption. So what we see that in such stories there is influence of religious practices, and these practices show how the story resonates with devotees across regions. And in some versions, Ahalya is depicted as a repentant character seeking redemption through her husband's forgiveness. In other adaptations, she is portrayed as a victim of circumstance and unjust punishment. We here see that there is a kind of Ahilya's progression of character, or her character development is also showcased when we apply this concept of interliterariness. So here we see that socio-cultural implications are also presented when this concept is applied. Let's take an example like Ahilya's story reflects societal norms and attitudes towards women, marriage and fidelity. Fidelity means again faithfulness. So we see that different retellings emphasize and at the same time challenge these norms within specific cultural contexts. And there is influence of religious sects. Ahilya's story has been interpreted differently by various religious sects, leading to variations in its retelling. So these differing interpretations contribute to the interliterariness of the story. Then we see that in North India, the story may be accompanied by music and recited through traditional storytelling forms like Kathak, whereas in Southern India, storytelling may be enriched with regional dance dramas like Bharatnatyam. So these are a sort of regional telling techniques which are applied while following this concept of interliterariness. At last, I must say that Ahilya's story continues to be discussed, adapted in modern literature, theatre, and film, showcasing its enduring significance. So, these contemporary adaptations contribute to ongoing interliterariness of Ahilya's tale. Then, with this video lecture ends here. Hope this will help you in your exams. Thank you.